see you're on early.
I was hoping to catch you before the others got here.
Something you want to discuss?
Yes. Well, it's a delicate thing, really. I heard that you might be retiring and...
Nothing settled yet.
Right. I know you'll probably be looking for the next leader for this group.
And you think you should do it?
No, actually, it's just a suggestion, of course, but I was thinking Freya should.
Freya, but she has the least experience in the field.
True, but it might be time for a fresh set of eyes. I think she could lead the group in new directions, don't you? She has lots of energy for communicating with the dictionary higher-ups. And think how good it would make the school look, and you. That you consider the voices of students and alumni to be important in the work, not just within the walls of the university, but also in the outside world.
Some good points. I will consider it, though not sure it matters what my image is here once I've gone. And as I've said, I haven't made any firm decisions yet about leaving the college.
Yes, of course, and there's no rush. I just thought I'd put in my 2 cents.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Billy. How's it going?
Oh, good now. Took care of the kids this morning while Sarah went for a grocery run. They made a massive mess. I thought they were fine. What could go wrong? Just making a smoothie in the kitchen. But when I went to check on them, there was smoothie all over, even on the ceiling. Took us an hour to clean it all up. So now I am glad of an excuse to escape to my office.
I did that once. I was making ice cream base in our blender and forgot to put the lid on, and ice cream got all over the cat. She didn't seem to mind too much, though. It was basically just sweetened milk.
I can top you both. Last spring, I was making some chalk paint with students outside the counselling centre. We were going to write positive messages on the paths, so we had buckets of each colour. A student came by on a scooter. I quickly tried to move out of the way, but I put my foot in one of the buckets and fell over, knocking over all of the others and getting completely drenched in chalk paint.
I don't much like mess myself. I mostly stayed out of the way when my kids were making messes. So, our words today are velleity and quaquaversal.
Yes. Velleity seems a very modern idea for such an old word. It means the quality of just wishing or desiring something without taking any action towards making it happen.
Those things you think about, but don't quite do enough to make a change.
Precisely.
And quaquaversal is primarily used in geology, something which goes in every direction.
You know, it's funny. I've gotten quite into rock balancing, but that word has never come up.
Rock balancing?
Yeah, you go to natural places where there are stones of different shapes and sizes and find ways to stack them without any kind of support. It can be kind of zen-like. Anyway, you get to be somewhere beautiful while you're doing it.
Wow, that sounds so cool.
Yeah, like a miniature Stonehenge or an ancient monument.
But back to quaquaversal, going in every direction.
So my hair when I first wake up?
Or children running free in a park.
Oh, certainly the latter. My children seem to be in a state of quaquaversity. Wait, is that a word?
I don't think so, but maybe you could start using it that way.
All right, enough sidebars. What do we think of these words?
They are both rather old-fashioned.
Though quaquaversal is kind of like an onomatopoeia. It's fun to say.
I do think both are things we experience in the modern world. The internet almost seems quaquaversal. Emails especially. They come in from every direction. I sometimes wish they would just answer themselves.
Automated email responses would certainly come in handy. And I do think quaquaversal often relates to children. Speaking of, I'll be right back.
And velleity is something everyone experiences too, I think. Things we wish could be different, but for whatever reason, we feel we don't have the power or interest to change.
There are plenty of people in my practice who just hope things will change without them having to do anything. But the truth is, velleity is something we all need to work hard to move past. Think how much could be changed if we followed up our hopes with a little action, not just for ourselves, but for the world.
I think they are both nice words and interesting ideas. Maybe we need them both.
Ah, is that the opinion of our breath of fresh air?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, but yes.
But to me, they just don't feel like things modern people would actually say. I think we could be a bit more ruthless in removing these kinds of words. They will still be there for people who are looking for them. They'll still be in the digital dictionary, but I'm starting to think we should be working with more modern words.
See, this is one of the problems with youth these days. New does not necessarily mean better.
Ah, yes, the kids these days argument. Since they weren't around in the good old days when things were substantial, effective, worthy, and real, they have no idea what they're talking about.
If the shoe fits.
I just need 10 more minutes. Find something quiet to do, please, okay?
You know, I love old words. I'm not saying new is always better than old, but Lexi might be right. Sometimes we do need to use simple language.
But we don't always have a simpler word. Sometimes you just need the complication of a big word. Just because the past is old doesn't mean it should be put out to pasture.
I'm not saying that either, but I bet for every archaic word you come up with, I could offer a simpler, more modern equivalent.
I highly doubt that.
Challenge accepted. Give me a word.
Afterwit.
Hindsight.
Colliginous.
Misty.
Delatescent.
Concealed.
Bleased.
Drunk.
Gone.
Sufficient.
That's a bit of a simplification, don't you think?
No, I'd say that sufficient or satisfactory would be fine synonyms for the word lagom, as would be the just right amount. But I didn't say that, as it is 2 words too many.
Fine. Ambrosial.
Heavenly.
Peregrinate.
Wander.
Arivist.
Are you calling me an upstart?
No, simply suggesting a word. How about antimony?
Contradiction.
Dissipience.
Foolishness. Ha! I won.
No, you didn't. That's barely scratching the surface.
Oh, I so won.
I am sure there are many other words that we don't have a simple one-word equivalent for. There's a whole category, in fact, untranslatable words.
That would be cheating, though. They aren't in English.
What is it you even want, Freya? A minute ago, you were saying that we should keep both words. Then the moment Lexi said otherwise, you were arguing with me about simple words.
I do like those words, but I can also see what Lexi means. Sometimes we get so caught up in archaic language, no one has a clue what we are even saying.
Oh, so you're saying it's impossible to communicate with me?
Well, your 3 wives might agree.
Oh, that is not.
All right, that's enough, you two. This is bizarre. I mean, stop. Isn't there enough pointless arguing in the universe without this? Take a deep breath, both of you. Deep breath. Okay, now, both of you say you're sorry.
Sorry, I guess.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, Dad.
There are much more important things that we should be considering here. Like, who gets to choose the words that we use? Huh? What gives the 4 of us the power to choose, whether we're younger or older? Shouldn't this committee be larger? Have more representation of different races, of different life experiences? We sit here in our ivory tower arguing over which archaic word to hold on to when there are so many other things going on in the world that need fixing. How much do you think one obscure dictionary can really do to save the world? We seem to think if we only mold the language people use that we can solve big problems, but we can't even stop from arguing amongst ourselves about trivial nonsense.
Well, I, for one, had no intention of arguing.
Oh, so you're saying I started it?
If the shoe fits.
Enough, you two. Listen to Billy.
Thank you, Lexi. I've been thinking that we should be considering the definition of words we actually use every day. Take the word woman. We started to come up with a more comprehensive definition, but is that in the dictionary? No. What about the word racism? Is that being defined in a way that explores the many nuances and meaning of its use? Nope. If we're going to make real change and help people to communicate with each other, then we need to be considering more deeply the power and the meaning of the words we use every day. This is a much bigger issue than us, and we need to start taking it more seriously.
It seems impossible these days, though. How can you ever include everyone who should be included? How can anyone possibly make enough change in language to make any kind of difference whatsoever? And how can you even keep up with the speed at which language changes? What you're supposed to say one day is suddenly wrong the next day.
I'm not saying it's easy. It's just it's something we need to do if we want to make real progress.
That right there is why you would make a great leader of this group, Dr. Billy. What do you think, Rafe?
Well, nothing
It's settled yet.
But yes, I do think Billy might be a good leader for our group if I retire. Though it's starting to seem like I'm a bit behind the times. I have spent years trying to stay on the cutting edge of physics. New ideas are constantly asking us to reevaluate what we thought to be true about the nature of our universe. And it seems that language needs to be considered the same way. I have been thinking of exploring the vastness of the universe in a different way by joining a Buddhist monastery, at least for a retreat to see what I can learn.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because where do we find meaning in our lives? As a scientist, I've been very focused on observation. I believe that if I look hard enough at everything, at physics, cosmology, language, that I could somehow get to the center of things. I could understand myself and my relationships with others. A fellow professor lent me a book on Kierkegaard, who was so certain that simply observing is not enough to reveal the inner world of the spirit. He once said, "Life can only be lived backwards, but it must be lived forward." I think I've been doing it in reverse, trying to understand things forward and living backwards, always in the rubble of my last mistake and already lost in the shadow of my next one.
Let's put Kierkegaard aside for a moment. What are you feeling about all of that?
I don't know. Maybe first that I just can't be as sure of myself as Kierkegaard about anything.
Truth is, we all have to learn to live with a bit of uncertainty. But you do know what you feel, don't you? Go on.
Oh, well, that maybe it's time for a change, that's all, okay? To try to reset my view of the world and myself. My wife was so sure that the girls would be better off with her, and I just let her take them. I didn't even argue. I would like to get more connected with them, to try to make up for lost time. It may not be the beginning, but rather a beginning. A chance for a fresh start.
Good for you. I've already had several new beginnings in my life. In fact, if it weren't for you advertising about new members for this group, I may not have found a certain new beginning. And before, I didn't mean to say you were behind the times, per se.
Didn't you?
I almost wish I had a father around when I was growing up to argue with, discuss things with, like we are doing now. And I'm sure your daughter will be thrilled to have you around more when you're done meditating, that is.
Well, I suppose that is a compliment.
Yeah, but a minute ago I thought I was the dad.
Ah, patriarchy.
Well, back to our words for today. What do we think of velleity and quaquaversal? Do we remove them both? Perhaps in the name of progress, we should. Thankfully, they'll still be online, and we don't want to lose all knowledge of our forefathers, do we?
Well, hopefully not all of it, but maybe some of it.
Go on, Billy. Lead the vote.
All in favor of removing both words? Say aye.
Aye.
I guess that settles things for today.
So it seems. And tomorrow is another day.
Yep. Speaking of tomorrow, any words to suggest?
Me?
You are still our fearless leader for now, right?
Right. Well then, how about concinnity and infonatia?
I'm in.
Me too.
And me.
Good. And maybe we could continue to refine our definition of woman. We could send it to the dictionary and see what they think.
You never know.
You never do.
Well, so long for now then. Yeah, for now.